Let your creativity tell the stories you hold close. This is the inspiration behind Sonnet's Garden Bloom's December's Maker's Box. Hi, I'm Sylvia with Backyard Brushes in Fountain City, Wisconsin. And I'm thankful that I'm just getting my voice back after battling laryngitis for the past month. And I'm able to do this video considering the theme is cardinals, which I, one, hold dear to my heart, and two, are always a great seller. So let's roll up our sleeves and let's get creating. For Roy Cycles decoupage paper, we have Songbird Studies and Cardinal Ephemera. By the painted photographer, we have The Cheerful Five and Midnight Glow. For Sweet Pickens Milk Paint, we'll be using Scarlet and Crinoline and Apothecary by DIY Paint. The Fusion Mineral Paint this month is Snowdrop and Park Bench. And don't forget, Sonnet always leaves us a napkin with a thank you card that has the QRC code for the new digital press. For project one, I'll be flipping this stool I picked up at a local thrift store for $3. And well, stools always sell well, so if I'm teaming it up with a cardinal, it should sell really quickly. I first gave the stool a coat of Fusion cast iron, and with the Fusion mineral paint, I do not need to seal it once it's finished. I loved that the stool only had 3 legs, which I made sure to give a good coat of paint, and I also made sure to give the edge of the seat a coat of paint also. I cut out a cardinal from which, well, I believe it's the cardinal ephemera. And one of the sections was a perfect fit, well, a good fit for the top of the stool. Using the DIY crinoline, I gave the top part of the seat a coat of paint, and I wasn't worried about it being perfect or the best coverage. I decided that the edge of the seat needed a little something in the, I don't know what it's called, crevice. So I used Golden Ticket by DIY. While that dried, the crinoline was dry. So using the liquid patina by DIY, I first sprayed the decoupage paper or the rice paper with water to loosen up the fibers. And then using the liquid patina by DIY, I covered the first half of the stool, and then I just laid the paper on top, and I was able to maneuver the paper slightly and gently to get it positioned where I wanted it, making sure that it covered the edges or went from both edges of the stool. And then I just used my hands to help smooth out the wrinkles before adding the rest of the DIY liquid patina. You can use whatever decoupage medium is your favorite or that you have on hand. I just have really good luck with the liquid patina. And I do apologize, I feel like my voice is going out again. I'm just making my way around the edges of the stool seat with the liquid patina. I just gently brought the rest of the paper down over the decoupage medium, the liquid patina, and I used my hands to spread it out to minimize wrinkling and to ensure the stool was fully covered. Once dry, I used the liquid patina and I gave the stool a top coat. Using my finger sander, I used an up and down motion to remove the excess paper. I did choose to use golden matte to seal the paper or the stool one more time, just as added protection. And it really was this easy. And I'll probably be asking around $20 for the stool. For project 2, I'm going to use this wood bowl I picked up for $1 at a garage sale. I thought it was homemade, and then I found a similar one at Dollar General on clearance it was regularly priced 4, and I picked it up for 2. And so I'm not sure if the first one is homemade or not, but they're very similar. I decided to use the Sweet Pickins Milk Paint in Scarlet, and I mixed up the paint with a 1-to-1 ratio of the powder to water, stirred it, and I let it sit. Using the crinoline, I painted the inside part of both bowls. Using the Sweet Pickins milk paint, I went around the top edges and the sides of both bowls. Once they were dry, I did do the back of the bowls. I just feel like it completes the projects, especially if you're going to sell them. While the bowls dried, I cut out a section of the ephemera for each of the bowl, one section for each bowl. I misted the paper before using my liquid patina to adhere the paper to the bowls. I did start in the center, and I added my medium to the center of the bowl. I placed the paper on top of the bowl, pressing down into the middle, and I worked my way down to like the bottom corner, and then I just slowly worked my way around the bowl, pressing the paper from the center to the corner, center to the edge, center to the corner, and so forth, making my way around the bowl. Once the paper was adhered to the bowl, I sealed the paper to the bowl using a top coat of the liquid patina. And I did follow the same method with the second bowl. I chose to use the burn method to remove the excess paper. I just love the burnt, torn edges around the edge. And I don't recommend doing this inside. And I do have water available. Once the edges were removed, I gave the paper a final coat of the liquid patina. To seal the Sweet Pickins milk paint, and I do apologize, my voice is going out again. I am choosing to use the dark oil wax by Sweet Pickins, and I just gave a coat of oil on top of the paint. I let it sit for approximately 20 minutes, and I wiped off the excess with a paper towel. Now, on the back of the bowls, you can see here the difference it made using the dark wax versus the bare paint. And it just gave it that a little bit darkened it up. And so I gave the back of the bowls a coat of oil and removed it also with the paper towel. I chose to use sawtooth hangers at the back, on the back of the wooden bowls as an option for the buyers. And I will probably price these at $13 or $15 a piece. For project 3, I am using this planter I received from my coworker Michelle for free. It was cute, but I felt it needed a makeover. I did spray it with Rust-Oleum and let it dry overnight. And I'm now using the Apothecary DIY paint, and I gave the planter 2 coats of paint. The inside of the planter got 2 coats of the crinoline by DIY. And I apologize, I did fussy cut a cardinal, one of Connie the Painted Photographer's cardinals, and I adhered it to the pot with Liquid Patina by DIY. And for some reason, I missed getting it on video. So again, I apologize. Using the golden matte medium, I gave the inside of the pot a coat just to give it an extra layer of protection. And I did the outside of the planter also. Now, while I was sealing it, I felt it looked a little plain. So I decided to use the IOD music stamp, and I stamped on some music notes to the planter. And I wish I would have thought of this before adhering the bird, but it worked out anyways. I just, was careful not to lay the stamp on the bird. Once I stamped the planter, I did use a heat gun to set the ink. I then used DIY white wax and went over the planter. I do admit afterwards that I would not have done this, as it just wasn't as bright. The cardinal just wasn't as bright afterwards. So next time I would skip this step, and you can learn from my experience which way you prefer. Using succulent soil, and I apologize for my throat, I planted a Christmas cactus that I had purchased a set off of Amazon. And I will probably set this for sale at approximately $17. I would love to know which one of these projects was your favorite, so please leave me a comment below. And if you are not receiving Sonnet's Maker's Box, I do have a link in the description below where you can bypass the waiting list and start getting your box today. And if you found this video inspirational, please hit subscribe below and follow me along on my creative journey. Thank you.